Today, we're going to talk about consistency. Doc Edwards with One Belly, Two Brains Wednesday. And what I want to talk to you about is the reason why some people choose to continue to come to a chiropractor on a regular basis, even during the holiday times, even during New Year's, even during winter breaks, even when it's cold and snowy outside, why they're still coming into the office. So one of the things that I think is really ironic is that I'm going to sit here and talk to you about consistency when on the last two Wednesdays, we've missed the One Belly Wednesdays. And I'll bet you're kind of wondering why. So 2 weeks ago, it was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And so generally there's a whole lot of just activity going on with everybody's families, and that included mine too. So I was just kind of trying to get some stuff prepped. I was like, I think I'm gonna give this one a pause, give this one a break. And so what you got instead was a picture of me in a turkey hat. So I was trying to be a little consistent with saying, hey guys, we'll be right back. But then last Wednesday, something really kind of weird happened. Last Wednesday, what we did was we did a sharpening the saw where we got together and figured out what our marketing is going to look like for the next year. And so we had a nice marketing meeting with our staff, planned out how our events are going to look. We planned out how our social media is going to look. We had a lot of ways of thinking really deeply about you. Honestly, we started thinking about, well, who watches us? Who listens to us? Who is it that hangs out in our practice? Who do we really want to jive with and work with over the next year? And so in that vein of being consistent, this was something here, like our One Belly Wednesdays, I've done it every week. I don't know if I've missed many since the great pause started. So when I missed two in a row, boy, that ate at me. And you know what's funny about that? Is that as a chiropractic patient myself, I know that when I'm not getting adjusted on a regular basis, I can start telling. You want to know how I can tell? So it's not about headaches for me. It's not about back pain. It's not like I get some kind of sciatica or, I'm not a baby. I don't sit there and get colic. I don't sit there and get reflux. I have a latch issue, right? So what I do have though, are what we call neurological soft signs. For me, I get kind of grumpy. I mean, driving around the car and other people are driving like crazy people and I yell at them. I just get really mean. I also do something funny with my numbers. I transpose them, which is not great during payroll. Sorry if that's ever happened. But the whole thing that I try to do here is I try to understand myself. I try to understand how well am I sleeping? How well is my digestion going? They're all things about function, right? And so what chiropractic patients who have been long-term patients will usually tell me is, man, I just knew I was due, or I was just overdue. Do you know how they know? It's because when you're going along and your body gets subluxated, when you get interference between how your brain and body are trying to adapt to the world, for a while it tries to give you a signal. It tries to say, hey, look, something's not right here. And most of us tend to just kind of ignore it. We say, well, maybe it'll go away. Yeah, the truth is it does. Only 10% of your neurons are dedicated towards sensing pain fibers. It's like having a smoke detector in your bedroom that only detects 10% of the smoke though. That's a good crummy detector. You'd be really pissed at me if I gave you that detector. But that's what most of us rely on. We rely on those symptoms to tell us if something's okay or not. And then when we move away from being healthy, we're just like asymptomatic, right? And then we get symptomatic and we move back to the symptoms go away, but we never recover that full health. And so one of the most amazing things for me about chiropractic is that people start understanding that difference. They start feeling it in their bodies. They start feeling it in their energy levels. They start feeling it in their relationships. And so what they do is they choose to continue to get adjusted every 2 weeks, mostly not again because they're afraid of a symptom coming back, but because they feel the same way about chiropractic that a lot of people feel about choosing to eat organic, about choosing to have a gym membership or a personal trainer, about deciding to do music lessons, about doing painting parties, about making time with their friends to have dinner parties, or making family time on the entire weekend. We're going to unplug and we're going to do that on a regular basis. Those people choose those behaviors because that falls into what we would call a salutogenic paradigm. See, salutogenesis, we talk about that on One Belly Wednesdays. Salutogenesis is like salute to your health, right? And genesis is the generation of that. There are things you can do regularly through your lifetime to help build up your health, help build up your resistance and resilience to those outside physical stressors, like sitting all day, or having to shovel snow, or holding a like growing toddler while he's asleep and pulling him out of the car seat and trying to get him into bed. That's kind of my deal, right? The mental and emotional stresses. So many people have been dealing with anxiety over whether or not they could go see their family for the holidays. Things about, are we going to go through shutdown? Are we going to lose our jobs? Some people have chemical stress that are coming in. This is a huge time of year for that. Holiday parties are coming. We tend to eat and drink like maniacs, like nothing has a consequence. And lo and behold, our immune systems start to crash. There's definitely a relationship between those two things. So what we try to do is figure out how do we stay resilient to those traumas, thoughts, and toxins, the physical stresses, the mental, emotional stresses, and the chemical stresses. And I'll tell you the big secret. The big secret to the ability to be resilient to stress is consistency. Stressors are inevitable. Whether your body perceives them as good or bad has everything to do with your ability and capacity to manage them. The only way that you build capacity is by regularly achieving some kind of like resistance behavior, some resilience behavior. The thing that I talk to people about with mental health stress is that if the effects of stress are cumulative, so the antidote to that has to be cumulative too. You really do need to take the time out every day to do something for gratitude for the things that you have. You will be amazed at how that impacts your mood. If you can find something on a regular basis that helps to elevate you, whether that's, I love Adam Sandler movies, so maybe I'll pop one of those in Netflix if I'm feeling down, or if I've got some emotions that I really need to move. My son knows that I just love rocking out to Nirvana in the Jeep. And so he'll say, Dad, I can tell you're a little bit angry at those people driving. Do you need to listen to the man yelling? And man, we'll just blast that, right? You got to figure those kinds of things out for yourself. But the way that you can kind of work through it too, sometimes just as simple as getting adjusted. Improve the clarity between your brain and your body so that you can be more resilient and more adaptive this holiday season. If this is helpful for you, if you have a friend or a family member that needs to hear messages like this, just little reminders sometimes, a little boost if someone is getting out of their routine, or a little way to go for people who are staying in their routine, share this with them. We always appreciate likes and comments. We appreciate the new follows that we get every single week on One Belly Wednesday here on the Mama's Chiropractic Facebook and YouTube pages. If you have questions about anything, feel free to ask. I'm really looking forward to talking with you again next week. And until